Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's crucial for all you travel enthusiasts out there, especially those with US passports. Because today, we're talking about travel restrictions. As of December 2024, no countries completely ban US citizens just for being American. But that doesn't mean everywhere welcomes us with open arms. Some countries make it really hard for us to visit due to political disagreements, complicated visa processes, or serious safety concerns. It's important to know which ones those are to avoid an international incident on your next vacation. So let's pack our metaphorical bags and our patience, and check out 15 countries where traveling as an American can be particularly tough. Let's get started. First up is North Korea, which probably won't surprise anyone. The US government strongly advises against traveling to North Korea. Actually, it's more than that. They've basically banned it by saying you need special permission to even use your passport there. This is mainly because the two countries haven't had diplomatic relations for decades. And this isn't just some formality either. Back in 2017, a US student, Otto Warmbier, was detained in North Korea for allegedly trying to steal a propaganda poster. He was sentenced to hard labor but ended up in a coma, and sadly passed away shortly after returning to the US. It's a tragic reminder of the very real consequences of defying these travel restrictions. The US government worries about its citizens' safety in North Korea because they don't really have any way to help you if something goes wrong. There are no US embassies or consulates there, and the North Korean government doesn't exactly have a great track record when it comes to human rights. So, yeah, North Korea is definitely a place where you want to admire the scenery from afar, like, really far. Stay safe and informed. Moving on to our next destination. Let's go. Next, we're heading to the Middle East to Iran. Now, Iran does actually issue visas to Americans, but I say that with, like, a whole bunch of caveats. It's not easy, it's not quick, and it's definitely not guaranteed. The application process is notoriously long and complicated, often requiring you to have sponsorship from an Iranian citizen or resident and travel as part of a pre-approved tour group. You're also going to want to brush up on your cultural sensitivity because Iran has strict rules about dress code and behavior, especially for women. Remember, in Iran, it's the law that women have to cover their hair in public. And then there's the political climate. The US and Iran have a long and complicated relationship. So while Iran is an undeniably beautiful and culturally rich country, it's not a destination for a casual vacation. It takes careful planning and respect for their laws and customs. Our next stop is a little closer to home, Cuba. Now you might be thinking, wait, I thought Americans could go to Cuba now. And you're not wrong, but it's complicated. The US government has a long-standing trade embargo with Cuba, which means American tourists can't just hop on a plane and head to Havana for a mojito on the beach. There are specific categories you have to qualify for to travel to Cuba, and tourism just isn't one of them. You can go for family visits, professional research, journalistic activities, religious purposes, or a handful of other reasons. But you have to apply for a license from the US government, and even then, it's not guaranteed. And if you do get permission to go, there are still restrictions once you're there. You can't stay in fancy resorts, you can't use US credit cards, and you'll need to get special travel insurance. So, while the relationship between the US and Cuba has thawed a bit in recent years, it's still a work in progress. Until those restrictions fully ease, traveling to Cuba as an American will continue to require extra planning and paperwork. Be prepared and patient. On to the next country. Next on our list is a country you might not know much about, Turkmenistan. Located in Central Asia, Turkmenistan is known for its vast deserts, ancient cities, and its reputation for being one of the most difficult countries in the world to get a visa to. Turkmenistan is what you might call a closed country. Its government keeps a tight grip on information, tourism, and pretty much everything else. So, unless you've got a really compelling reason to go and a whole lot of patience for paperwork, Turkmenistan might be one to admire from afar, at least for now. Our next destination takes us to Russia. Now, Russia used to be a lot easier for Americans to visit, but as I'm sure you can guess, things have changed. Geopolitical tensions have put a strain on the relationship between the US and Russia, and that has made getting a Russian visa a lot more difficult for Americans. The process is now longer, more expensive, and comes with no guarantees. And even if you do manage to get a visa, be prepared for increased scrutiny from authorities once you're there. Traveling to countries with strained diplomatic relations always comes with an element of unpredictability. Our next stop takes us to the Horn of Africa, to Eritrea. Eritrea is a country of stunning landscapes, ancient ruins, and a rich cultural heritage. But it's also a country with a government that doesn't exactly welcome visitors with open arms. The US State Department advises against traveling to Eritrea. The visa process is notoriously opaque, arbitrary detentions have been reported, and there are restrictions on movement within the country. It's a situation where you don't want to end up on the wrong side of the law. Next up is Saudi Arabia, a country that has long been shrouded in mystery and intrigue for many Westerners. For years, Saudi Arabia was basically off-limits to tourists. But recently, they've started to open up, even issuing tourist visas to Americans. But getting a visa is still not easy, and there are a lot of rules you need to follow once you're there. From the deserts of Saudi Arabia, we're heading to the Himalayas, to the Kingdom of Bhutan. Known for its stunning mountain scenery, ancient monasteries, and its commitment to gross national happiness, Bhutan is a dream destination for many travelers, but getting there isn't easy, and it's definitely not cheap. Bhutan has a high-value, low-impact tourism policy, requiring all visitors to book their trip through a licensed tour operator and pay a minimum daily fee. This fee covers accommodation, food, transportation, a guide, and a sustainable tourism royalty. Our journey takes us to Syria, a country ravaged by years of civil war and humanitarian crisis. The US government strongly advises against all travel to Syria, and it's not hard to see why. The country is considered extremely dangerous due to the ongoing conflict, terrorism, and the risk of getting caught in the crossfire. The Syrian government has also been known to deny entry to US citizens. Stay informed and stay safe. Our next stop is Libya, a country located in North Africa, bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Libya has a rich history and culture, but it's also a country grappling with political instability and ongoing conflict. The US government advises against all travel to Libya, citing the threat of terrorism, kidnapping, and civil unrest. Obtaining a visa is extremely difficult for Americans. Our journey takes us to Yemen, a country located on the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula. Yemen is a country of ancient history, stunning landscapes, and warm hospitality. But tragically, it's also a country facing a devastating humanitarian crisis. For years, Yemen has been embroiled in a civil war that has led to widespread famine, disease, and displacement. The US government strongly advises against all travel to Yemen. Our next stop takes us to Somalia, a country located in the Horn of Africa. Somalia has been plagued by decades of conflict, instability, and lawlessness. The US government strongly advises against all travel to Somalia, citing the high risk of terrorism, crime, and kidnapping. The country is also known for its problem with piracy, particularly in the waters off the coast of Somalia. Travel insurance is virtually impossible to get. Our journey continues in South Sudan, the world's newest country, having gained its independence in 2011. But independence hasn't brought peace or stability. South Sudan has been ravaged by civil war and ethnic violence since its inception, leading to a dire humanitarian crisis. The US government strongly advises against all travel to South Sudan. Our next stop is Venezuela, a country located on the northern coast of South America. Venezuela is home to stunning natural beauty, from the Andes Mountains to the Caribbean coastline, but it's also a country facing a severe political and economic crisis. The US government advises against all travel to Venezuela, citing the risks of crime, civil unrest, and arbitrary detention by government authorities. The Venezuelan government has been known to target or detain US citizens. Stay cautious and informed. Our final stop takes us to Belarus, a country located in Eastern Europe, often referred to as Europe's last dictatorship. Belarus has been ruled by Alexander Lukashenko since 1994, and his government has been criticized for its human rights record and its crackdown on dissent. The US government advises against all travel to Belarus. So, there you have it. 15 countries where traveling as an American in 2024 can be a real challenge. Remember, this isn't about judging these countries or their people. It's about being aware of the complexities of the world we live in, and making informed decisions about where and when we travel. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more travel tips and updates. Stay safe and happy travels.